Hello, so let us look at the solutions for the last exam here. Okay, which graph represents the solution set for this inequality? All right, so first thing which we have to do is we have to assume the equation. So x squared plus x equals 12. Then bring 12 over, so we get x squared plus x minus 12 would have been equal to 0. Through factoring, x plus 4 and x minus 3 is equal to 0. You can see that. Then we realize that x will be equal to 0 when x equals to negative 4 or 3. So then we realize that our number line will be negative 4 and then 3. Since this is a quadratic, what we can do is we can pick a point here, here, here to check up on it. Or, you know what, I'll just check up on the point in the middle. Since I can use the 0 for our checking value for this quadratic interval, if I have to plug in 0, then what do I get? 0 squared plus 0 is not less than 12, in fact. It's not greater than 12. So therefore, this wouldn't be our answer. That means our answer has to be in both ways out. So then which one is our answer? It looks like choice A, choice first one. Because of the, there's no underline, that means it has to be open circle here. All right, let us move on to number 2. We can multiply top and bottom by the common denominator. In this case, it seems to be y. So in the numerator, we get x squared minus y squared. On the denominator, we get x plus y. Then we can factor this one as x plus y, x minus y, over x plus y. Then these two cancels out. We have x minus y is our answer. Number 3. Here, we get to realize that we have division, so therefore we get to have it as log square root of x squared y cubed minus log of z. Now this radical is in fact 1/2 as an exponent, so we could have 1/2, which covering the whole thing. And here we have this 2 as an exponent, so we could have 2 log of x plus 3 log of y minus log of z. Then here we end up getting choice 2 seems to be our answer. Number 4, on a standardized test, the mean was 83 and standard deviation was 3.5. So that means what is 76? In fact, what you can do is the 76 minus 83. And then when we divide by the standard deviation 3.5, then this will tell us how many standard deviations we are away from the mean. Also called this is also called a z-score. So when you subtract it, then we get negative 7 over 3.5, which is equal to negative 2. Now, on the other hand, 90. So 90 minus 83 over 3.5 is in fact equal to 2. So what we're looking for is negative 2 to positive 2. Then that's around 95% of the values. You can see it from the normal value here. Basically, we are looking from here all the way down to here. When you combine them together, that's around 95%. So let us go back to the next question, number 5. For which value of x is fraction undefined, that means sine of x minus 1 cannot equal to 0. So when you add 1, then sine of x cannot equal to 1. That means x has to be cannot equal to 90 degrees because sine of 90 is equal to 1. So therefore 90 would have been our answer. Then it would be not defined. Number 6. Notice that x is outside of the radical. That means we always have to check for the check to see if our answers are correct or not. So first our step will be subtracting x from both sides. So we get x plus 6, which is equal to 6 minus x, and then we can square them. Then we have x plus 6, which will be equal to squaring of this one, becomes 36 minus 12x plus x squared. So when you subtract x, subtract 6, then we end up getting 0 equals, I'm going to write down x squared first, minus 13x plus 30. Then here we can see that x this can be factored into x minus 10, x minus 3. So therefore x has to be equal to 10 or 3. Now once again, we need to check it. Once you plug in 3, then here we get square root of 3 plus 6 plus 3, that's equal to 6. And that works out because this portion is 3. But when you plug in 10 here, then 10 plus 6 plus 10, in fact that's not equal to 6 because this is already greater than 6 and this will be positive. So 10 has to be out, that means our answer is only 3. 3 only, that becomes our answer. Number 7. Which integer is not in the range? So which integer is not the y value? So when you plug in negative to here, and notice that this is a linear function, that means a straight line. So when you plug in negative 2 here, then we get negative 3. So negative 2 comma negative 3 is our lowest value. And then highest value is 3. When you plug in 3, then we get 6 plus 1, which is 7. So negative 3 to 7 is the value that will be within our range. That makes negative 4 to be not in the range. Number 8. Angle is 135. This one is, these are the given values. So let's try to construct a triangle here. In fact, we are looking for 135. Okay. Let me try to make it 135 here. How about that? Something like that. Then, this being angle A, B, and C. So AC is 9 and AB is 10. Now, this is 135-degree angle. Notice that if this is 135, then obviously this one has to be the biggest angle in a triangle, but the opposite side is not the biggest. So we know that the answer should be equal to 0. But just to be clearer, let us call this one as x and then try to use the law of sines to figure this one out. So here we get 9 over sine of 135 is equal to 10 over sine of x. When you cross multiply, then we get 10 sine of 135 is equal to 9 sine of x. So sine of x would have been this one divided by 9. So let us try to do that here. 10 times sine of 135, and making sure that it is on the degree mode. That's good. Alright, and then we're going to divide that by 9. So we get that value, 0.78567. Now, then what we're going to do is we're going to do the second sign to figure out the value of x. So second sign of that value, we get 51 degrees. Okay, x equals 51 degrees, or 51.8 degrees. How about that? Then if you plug that in, can we make a triangle? Some of these two angles are already over 180 degrees, so that's not possible. Once again, therefore, the answer is 0 triangles. Number 9. Here what we can do is we can subtract 4. So here we get 2x minus 1 is equal to 4. And then we can divide whole thing by 2. Then we get x minus 1/2 is equal to 2. This basically means from 1/2, we're going to go up and down by 2 units. So then we get 2.5 here. We get negative 1.5 here. So we get 2 answers, which is choice 2 becomes our answer. Number 10. Domain, and in this case, x plus 5 has to be greater than 0, not even equal to, because it's on the denominator. That means subtracting 5, then x has to be greater than negative 5 is our answer, which is choice 1. Now, number 11, sine and then cosine. So cosine of a minus b is cosine of a and cosine of b plus sine of a sine of b. Notice that this is in quadrant 1 and then this is in quadrant 3. So in this case, sine of a is this one, then cosine of a must be equal to 12 over 13. You can try to get the triangle and then get it done in this way. Here, sine of b must be equal to negative 3 over 5 because it's in the third quadrant. Once again, if you had to draw the triangle, then you would have gotten it. So cosine of a is 12 over 13 times cosine of b is negative 4 over 5 plus sine of a is 5 over 13. Sine of b is negative 3 over 5. So here we get, this is 65, and the numerator is negative 48. And then plus, here we get 65, numerator is negative 15. So our answer is negative 63 over 65 would have been our answer. Alright, number 12. How are we going to solve for x? So we can factor out 4x squared, then we get 2x plus 1. And factor out 9, then we get 2x plus 1. Factoring out 2x plus 1 from both sides, then we get 4x squared minus 9 equal to 0. So here we get 2x plus 1, then here we get 2x plus 3, 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. Then to make this one equal, x has to be equal to negative 1/2, here we see that. Here we get negative 3 over 2, and here we get positive 3 over 2. So we have 3 answers given. Alright, number 13. In this case, notice that this factors into x minus 1 times x minus 2. So what if we were to multiply by all these things in order to read terms? Then we'll end up getting, this cancels out with this one. We have x minus 5 times x minus 2. X minus 2 cancels out. Then we have 10 times x minus 1, which is equal to x minus 3, or x plus 3, because these two things cancels out. Alright, here we get x squared minus 7x plus 10 plus 10x minus 10, which is equal to x minus 3. So here we get negative 10 and positive 10 cancels out. So we have x squared plus 3x, but here comes out minus x and plus 3 equal to 0. When you combine them, x squared plus 2x plus 3 equal to 0. Actually, oops, I miswrote it here. It's supposed to be plus, so therefore this must be minus. Sorry about that. Then here we can have x plus 3 and x minus 1 to be equal to 0. Then x must be equal to negative 3 and positive 1. But when you see positive 1 will not be the answer because it will make this portion and this portion not defined. So positive 1 has to cancel out. Only correct answer will be negative 3. Alright. Two forces are applied to an object. So basically what we're looking for is, let's try to draw the two forces here. Between this pound applied forces and then this pi, resultant is 25 degrees. So in fact, this would be 30, and then that would be the, how about this one, in this way. In other words, then this becomes the second force, which we cannot see at this point. In other words, this will be 30.2, this will be 50.1, and the angle between them is 25 degrees. So this would have been the second force, which we do not know. We can, of course, could have cloned this one, and you'll realize that it would have been, this is first force, this is second force, and that would have been the resultant. We could have seen it in that way also. See, making a triangle. Alright, now, then find the magnitude of the second applied force. What we have to do is, I'm looking for this value x. So then, in this triangle, you see, I see two sides and the angle between them. So this is law of cosine. A. So x squared, which is equal to 30.2 squared plus 50.1 squared, minus 2 times 30.2 times 50.1 times cosine of 25 degrees. So let us try to put that in together. 30.2 squared plus 50.1 squared minus 2 times 30.2 times 50.1 times cosine of 25 degrees. That's basically what we end up getting, and then we need to take the square root of that. Get 26.06. So here, our answer, x becomes, and then put it to the nearest tenth of a pound, so 26.1 pound would have been our answer. Alright, so that's A. How about B? Using this answer found in part A, find the measure of the angle between the second applied force and then the resultant. So this, let's call that as Y. Second force and then the result, which is same as this force, this angle also. So what we can do is we can use the law of sines, can't we? Then number B would have been, so let's look at it, 26.1 over 25 degrees. So 26.1 over sine of 25 degrees must be equal to 30.2 over sine of y. Then sine of y must be equal to 30.2 times sine of 25 degrees, and divide that by 26.1 pound, which we just got. So here we get, for the second question, 30.2 times sine of 25 degrees, but we have to divide that by 26.1. And that's what we end up getting. So to get the second sine of that value, then we get 29 point, y becomes 29.3 degrees. Nearest degree, so it's going to be 29 degrees. Alright, and that makes sense. Once this one is 26, then this one is a little bit, this angle is a little bit bigger than, this side is a little bit bigger than this side, hence this angle is a bit bigger than this angle. Alright, let's go for number 15. Now, how are we going to do this one? See, x has to be between 0 to 360. So cosine of 2x has three options. But I will use 2 cosine square x minus 1 minus 4 cosine of x plus 3 equal to 0. Why? Because then the other term has cosine only, so in that way we can express everything in terms of cosine. Then here we get 8 cosine square x minus 4 cosine of x plus 3 equal to 0. Now bringing everything together, then we get 8 cosine square x minus 4 cosine of x minus 1 equal to 0. Then cosine of x would have been impact by using the Pythagorean theorem. We get 4 plus or minus square root of 16, because this one's square, minus 4 times 8 times negative 1 makes this one into positive, all over 2 times 8, which is 16. So here we get 4 plus or minus, this one is 16, this one is 32, so we end up getting 48 divided by 16. So once you simplify this one, 4 plus or minus 4 radical 3 over 16. Let us cancel out 4's, then here we get 1 plus or minus radical 3 over 4. Now, then we have two possibilities here. First possibility is x has to be, cosine of x will be 1 plus radical 3 over 4. Then let us try to find out what x would have been equal to. So here we get second cosine of 1 plus radical 3 close parenthesis divided by 4. Then we get 46.9 degrees. So now in this case they want us to put it to the nearest tenth. That means 46.9 degrees would have been the one. But cosine is positive on the fourth quadrant, so another thing which we could have done was 360 minus that value, then 313.1. So those are the two answers. And then cosine of x could have been equal to 1 minus radical 3 over 4. So then here, I'm going to reuse this one, except that sign in the middle has to be minus. Then we get 100 degrees, or 100.5. So we get 100.5 degrees. Then this is from second quadrant. Then third quadrant is also the answer. But notice that this, when you subtract it from 180, the reference angle here is the 79.5. So when you add 79.5 from 180, we get 259.5, I believe, becomes our answer also. Let me just check it. So 180 minus the value would have given us the reference angle, which we're going to add on to 180. Alright, so that becomes our final answer. And that's it. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. And have a